Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us for our latest Kumi Now online gathering. My name is Tan, and if you're new here, I'll make sure to put some links for you for our Kumi Now website and Sabio's newsletter and other Sabio resources so you can check any previous sessions that we've done. Our topic today will be on psychosocial support for children, and we are joined by Rami Khaddar. So I would like to introduce Rami, and he'll give a presentation about a little bit about the work that he does and the issues and psychosocial support more generally. Rami is a humanitarian, artist, and social worker from Bethlehem, Palestine, with expertise in humanitarian response, psychosocial support, arts-based healing, MHPSS capacity building, and grassroots community empowerment. He is the founder of several prominent initiatives and organizations, including Anar for empowerment and psychosocial support. And he'll be talking a little bit about the organization as well today. His extensive training experience has been enriched by his tenure as a lecturer at Bethlehem University, where he taught psychology and social work, and his time as the founder and director of the Yar Theater, where he, and as the director of East Jerusalem's YMCA's rehabilitation program, where he led a team of 70 staff members, trainers, counselors, and coordinators in delivering life-saving psychosocial support. A strong advocate for collective justice as a key element of healing from both individual and intergenerational trauma, Rami was recognized with the 2015 Arab World Social Innovator Award by the Synergals Institute. So thank you so much, Rami, for taking the time today to speak with us. Rami has been present also on Sabio delegations more recently, so he was able to speak in person, but it's so great that you're able to come today online. So we really thank you for that. The first part will be dedicated to Rami's presentation. And then after his presentation, we'll leave a bit of a time for a Q&A. If we have more time after that, and after Rami leaves, we will engage a little bit in action. So Rami, thank you so much, and feel free to start.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Rami Khader from Bethlehem, Palestine. I'm the director of Anar, which is a community-based mental health and psychosocial support organization working in the West Bank. I want to share my screen. I will be telling you a little bit about the work of Anar in the West Bank and why we need such a program. But then I will be focusing on mental health and psychosocial support needs for children who experience detention in Israeli prisons and the process what we call unchilding that children experience as a result of the detention, but this can actually go through other spectrums of oppression that children experience as well. Children in Gaza, in the West Bank, experiencing different violence and oppressive mediums as well. Anar is dedicated. I'm not sure why this is not. Oh, Anar works to support the psychosocial well-being and resilience for children. And as part of working with children, we work with the entire ecosystem around the child, starting from home, caregivers, brothers, sisters, family system, and then we go to the wider community, working with social workers, teachers, administrators, community leaders as well. The whole idea that we stand on is that in Palestine, trauma is not only the trauma of the incident. It's not the one incident that happened and affected individuals as well. It is the oppression that children have been experiencing themselves, but also they experienced as part of the intergenerational effects of trauma. I'll give you an example. When we have seen families, communities in Gaza forcibly displaced from the north going to the south, and we have seen this route of people walking all together from the north to the south. For us, even our children, we have never seen this in person, but our grandparents have seen it, our fathers have seen it in 48 and 67. And even though that we haven't experienced forced displacement ourselves, we felt like when we saw the photos of the genocide that we have seen such thing exist before. This is what we call the intergenerational and the structural trauma that affects children as well as the experiences, the hard experiences they experience day by day. We have three programs. One is called Community-Based Psychosocial Support, which believes in building the capacity of the communities in response to mental health and psychosocial support. We have the other program called Shababik, which translates in English windows as windows, believing in open windows for young people through mentorship and coaching programs. And we have a program for the little ones. We call it Makan, which means space, to use arts as a medium for collective healing. This is, as I have only half an hour that I want to focus on the experience of child detainees, just to give you a little idea how we work with young people through our program. And we offer them capacity building, training, healing programs, leadership programs, so they can play a role in healing in their communities as well. I mentioned about the Macan program in which we work with young people using the arts. Such a great way to really unlock and open hearts of children and bring them back to feel again. The context, as you might know, is very difficult. Now we're talking about more than 50,000 murdered in Gaza, with almost 2 million that are wandering from one tent into the other as a result of the genocide. We have 15,000 children and more who have been murdered, and it keeps going as we see and witness on daily basis. In Gaza, the situation of children is not only traumatic, it's really in a very difficult situation that I would say generations of healing programs would not even be enough to heal the children of Gaza. You know, as parents, we really try to protect our children from seeing harmful, violent images. In Gaza, this is not the case. Children have seen everything. Children have experienced every single brutal experience. They have not even able to reflect on their feelings as they go from one harsh situation into the other, from one killing into the other. The West Bank is no less than what is happening in Gaza. In fact, after October 7th, we have seen more and more checkpoints, more and more gates have been installed into communities. Bethlehem alone have around 98 gates around and inside of Bethlehem, segregating the whole community in just a second when soldiers decide they want to close the gate and go home. And then you will have communities trapped in their small communities or in the wider Bethlehem area. And this is not only in Bethlehem, this goes to most of the West Bank, all of the West Bank communities as well. Settler violence has been increasingly an issue, continues to be an issue, but it is really way more dangerous than it used to be. Settlers are more and more equipped with machine guns by Israeli government, and usually they are guarded by Israeli military. Just to give you an idea of the issue, in Hebron Old City, there are about 500 settlers living by force in the old city of Hebron, guarded by 3,000 soldiers, Israeli soldiers, which really says that every settler in the old city of Hebron has five or six Israeli military guarding him or her. Movement restrictions has been also an issue in the West Bank. People are afraid to move freely because of settler violence that, as I said, is on the rise, but also there is no timing for opening and closing gates. So it is easily that you can be prevented from going outside of your community because the gate is closed, or actually coming back to the community because the gates are closed. In many instances, we have seen our counselors being trapped in a community and have to sleep in the car or in a guest house or with a Palestinian family. Here, I want to talk about child detention. Child detention has been one of the most brutal experiences children in Palestine experience as a result of the brutal occupation that we live with. Children, as we say, usually we hear numbers. We hear that on yearly basis, there are between 800 and 1,200 children who are arrested in Israeli juvenile. And when I say children, it is usually, not usually, but it is between the age of 12 and 18. In Israel, there is a law that the state can put children as young as 12 into prison and put them by themselves to court, so not with an adult. And at the moment, we have around 560 children who are kept in Israeli juvenile. We have around 10,000 Palestinians, different ages, who are in the Israeli military courts as well, including 700 children and 266 women. There is something called administrative detention that you will be able to put children to prison without even the need to take them to court and put them to trial, to fair and just trial. You take them on something called administrative detention, meaning that Israeli military is suspicious of them doing anything, but they do not have enough resources to put them in trial. What we have seen in this whole process is not the numbers. It's not the brutal experiences that children experience as being put in very harsh situations and very brutal situations in prison. But what we have seen as a psychologist is that children, when they go out of prison, they are not children anymore. They have been unchilded. They are adults in bodies of children. But when we talk to them, when we ask them to express themselves, they cannot express themselves as children. They cannot see themselves as children, and they do not want to go back to childhood. So our work has been centered on helping children to go back to childhood. The process of unchilding is very brutal and very difficult. Usually children are detained in the middle of the night, 2, 3, 4 a.m. And usually by 40, 50, 60, could be 100 Israeli military personnel invades a town and then a child's house, brutally bombing the house doors, knocking very hardly, shooting gas bombs in the middle of the night. uh, terrifying the whole community. And then they go directly to the child room. Usually they know exactly where that is. And in that moment, that the process of unchilding starts. The child at that moment is terrified, scared to death. They don't know what to do, and they are surrounded by machine guns and laser points and Israeli military who are angry, yelling, shouting at the child face. At that moment, usually children will ask for the help of their parents. You know, we believe as children that whatever happens in life, our family, parents will be protecting us. But at that moment, the child is somehow unconsciously told that your parents are not your support system anymore. Your country is not your support system anymore. No one will protect you, We will take you with us to the unknown. And this is what usually happens. The soldiers will take the child into the military vehicle, then into a nearby military post. And they leave the child for almost 24 hours in a very dark room that they are unable to talk to anyone. You have no idea what comes to mind for that child. One of the things that comes to his mind or her mind is guilt. Look what I have done to my family. Another thing is fear. I don't know what is happening, where I'm going, what will happen to me. I'm really afraid. I'm terrified. And the third thing is, will I come back? Will they shoot me or will they send me to a prison? So the moments of unknown are very hard for a child to comprehend. Then they send the child to a detention center. In the detention center, usually children are left alone in, um, in cells that are very dark as well. They get food from underneath the door only in certain times, and usually they hear the noises of other prisoners who are going through hitting or torture or any other sort. So the military exposes them to these kind of noises from other rooms because psychologically they want to terrify the child before they get the chance to sit one on one with the child and do the investigation. By the moment the child is left days, or it could be for a week alone without anyone speaking to, completely terrified, they make it on themselves, do not have enough hygiene. They smell really badly as a result of not being able to take a shower for so long. They cannot take the smell. They keep smelling themselves. It is really a very dehumanizing experience. And once they go to the investigation, they are sitting in front of someone who's very well trained of how to do this. For the first time in life, the child is treated as an adult, asked questions as an adult, and they scream in his or her first as an adult, and they won't even give the child a chance to express how terrified they are. The child will be in constant feeling of um, anger, guilt, scared, emotionless, all of that. And by the end of the investigation, the child is asked to sign on his or her behalf. We think that this is a small thing, but it's not really a small thing because, you know, when we do something wrong at school, they call our parents, and by the end of the meeting with the headmaster or the teacher, they ask our parents to sign on our behalf. If we want to go on a trip with the school, they give us papers to sign from our parents to give them consent. We are used to think that as children, we do not sign on our behalf. So this is the first time someone is asking the child, is telling the child, also unconsciously, that you're not a child anymore. You have to sign your own confession. This is the second layer of unchilding that that child had experienced as part of the detention process. And by the end of that process, children are asked to sign in Hebrew language that they not read or do not understand. So it could be that they signed on anything uh, um, the soldier or the investigator wrote. Okay, so then children are sent once they sign the confession. They are sent to prison. In prison, other inmates, child inmates, they want to comfort the new child with love, use the words of be strong, be a man, be masculine, don't worry, the state of Israel fears you, you are strong, you are this, you are that. And now, someone who's on the same age, same experience, same culture, is telling the child, also unconsciously, you're not a child anymore. You have to be strong. You have to be a man. You have to be a mature, a woman. They fear you. They want you to see you terrified. Don't show emotions. So there is another confirmation of unchilding, but really now it comes from an inmate. It comes from another child. Children will stay in prison for a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, 6 months. Then they go out. When children go out, I mean, we love our children. We want to welcome them back. It's so much brutal for a child to experience this. We do big festivals, big meals. We invite the whole community. And what the child will hear all the time from our community, you're a hero, you're strong, you have escaped this brutality, be this, be that, don't worry, and all of that. I mean, out of good, we do that. But it is also another confirmation from the community that you're not a child anymore. 3, 4 days, the community will stop to come to their house to greet the child and meet him, and children are left by that time alone. That's when children they experience panic attacks, they experience anxiety, they experience PTSD, they experience insomnia, bedwetting, anger that they cannot really describe why this is happening. And on top of that, they cannot build a healthy relationship with their parents anymore. And when people ask me, when parents ask me why this is happening, I mean, we don't feel our child is our child. We don't feel like he or she is the child we had 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I usually tell them that is the moment, the first very moment when children were experienced that moment of your caregivers are not your protection anymore. And that's when we try with the family or with the child, restore life, restore their mental health and well-being through individual counseling, through group counseling, trying to help them academically to go back to school. If we fail to do so, we offer them vocational assistance. And usually they do not want to go back to school because school is not for adults. School is for children. They are not children anymore. I mean, if you look at the photo here, if you look at the face of the child, you will know exactly what I am talking about. This is the usual expression children will have once they escape the brutality of prison. I mentioned here the kind of work we do with child detainees to bring them back to life again, restore their childhood, and help them in being an active part of their community and their life. Sometimes we fail to do so because children and the scar they have witnessed in prison is way brutal than our ability to deal with the child and help the child. And this is where we refer children to a more specialized mental health clinic or psychiatrist. Again, this is the kind of work we provide to children, and it's just it is in small actions we do that, and without even noticing it, we restore hope again in the lives of children and families who experience the brutality of the war machine, the Israeli war machine, that is so brutal, so inhumane, uh, more than ever at the moment. We mainly work in the West Bank. We have a field office in Bethlehem. We have a field office in Hebron, in Nablus, in Tulkarem, and Jenin, trying to reach out to the communities and support as much as needed. The need is way beyond our capacity and way beyond the capacity of 10 organizations combined, as people are experiencing so much weight on their shoulders as a result of the genocide and the apartheid we live under here in the West Bank as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rami, for this presentation and for also your detailed comments and presentation on unchiding. It's a policy I think that's I think a lot of people they got to know more about child detention policy through the case of Ahmad Manasra, who was freed a few days ago, and so I think that case really highlighted a lot of the things that you talked about. So we appreciate you talking about this. So I'll wait for any questions that are in the chat that we can ask Rami. In the meantime, I'm curious because you have a background as in social work and psychosocial support, and so based on your work in with Anar as well, how has, for example, like Western psychology or Western psychosocial services, how has that been challenged by the work that you're doing and seeing on the ground? And in what ways are they like failing maybe in different contexts? So I'm assuming there might be other organizations that might be doing similar work that work internationally. So yeah, I'm just curious on your reflections on that. I think you're muted, Rami.
As psychologists and social workers, especially living in a situation of brutal occupation, we also challenge the Western psychotherapy or Western psychology methodologies that are being presented as well, because as much as we want to use the the methodologies that have been tested in different places, but in Palestine, it is such a unique and complex situation that we really need to adapt on a psychology that is also um, it does not teach people only acceptance, but teaches people about how to understand that this brutality, this occupation, wants us to be byproducts of that brutality as well. So, as much as we need the Western modalities of psychology, we need a more liberation psychology that is more reflective to our situation and our context as well. And this is what we really try to do, walking with people through their healing process, using also different methodologies that are coming also from our culture and our context, has been very helpful in helping people to legitimize and localize psychotherapy and social work in Palestine.
Thank you, Rami. And what successes have you seen with children who are taking part in your programs?
I mean, what we have seen is very difficult. I mean, our work is not really the usual empowerment work that you work with people on the surface and you don't go in depth. We go in depth. We hear people's stories. We hear people suffering and what issues they have encountered as well, what oppression they have experienced as well. What has been very difficult in the lately, and especially after October 7th, is that everyone is afraid. Everyone is terrified of what is happening. Everyone is raged, is angry, and people do not have the means of how we react to our insecurities, how we react to our angry feelings, how we react to our fear, even as parents. We don't know how to raise children anymore in a context of such brutality. So what we have been able to do is really comfort parents, comfort caregivers, give them tips of how to really work with children in emergencies, as this is really a difficult task to do. But let me just be honest with you. Our work is not only about psychosocial support. I mean, what we have seen lately is that the economy here in Palestine is really extremely difficult. And some cases where we are working with the caregiver, we are working with the parent, with the child, they do not even have enough resources to feed their children. How we can really talk about healing when they are hungry themselves? How we are able to talk about healing when they do not have basic resources and needs and security needs as well. So our work has been also challenged by the economic, the social, the security situation that we live in. And it's not only that. Even as counselors, even our counselors, daily basis while they're doing their work, they put their lives on risk. I mean, many things will happen to you. Maybe while you're going to from one checkpoint to another, you can get detained. Some of our staff got detained. They were stopped on a checkpoint for 6, 7 hours for a day. They took our stuff, our phones, and left us for many hours without even ability to reach out our families. So it is not only the psychosocial well-being of the children, it is really also the psychosocial well-being of service providers who are overwhelmed as well from the amount of need that they see on daily basis.
Thank you, Rami. And I think there's a related question here, and I think you already elaborated on the impossibility of healing in this context of, you know, worsening economy, occupation, such. But one question that's kind of related is how are you building a community or a system where detainees or ex-detainees trust in the organization's work? So how are you maybe, what methods are you doing to do that?
Sure. It's a very sensitive area to be working at because children detainees, they do not trust any organization or any psychologist because always they fear that if they say anything, that this will be used against them to re-detain them as well. In fact, many children, while we're working with them, they re-detain them in Israeli juvenile. So it becomes even more complex. But what has helped us is that our social workers, our psychologists, are from the communities. So they are not, for instance, from outside of the community coming to the community. People know them, they know how legitimate they are. they know that the organization is legitimate. And usually, the best referring system we have is not the government referral system, is not by other organizations, it is by children themselves. A child who were unable to express their vulnerability and what they experienced, they asked other children, where did you get the help? I need help. And this is where we got our referrals. Children were referring children to our program. I like one question, if I may also reflect on the question of healing, liberation, and justice.
Yeah.
Is that as much as we work, our work is on the surface of building resilience and building empowerment in our community. But let us be honest here. Um, Real healing without justice is not possible. And when we, as Palestinians and our friends from all over the world, continue to raise our voices against this brutal machinery of war, please know that this is not only activism, this is not only advocating for the right and freedom of the Palestinian people. This is a key element in our healing process. Otherwise, our healing process will always remain incomplete.
Related to this, there's some questions about how we can better support Anar's work in the communities. So if you could expand a little bit on like how international communities can help and support.
Sure. I mean, it we live in a place where silencing legitimate voices of liberation and justice is the case. So um, we see now the governments and the wealth is trying really to stop us from speaking truth to power. So more than ever, we need voices that speak about Gaza and children of Palestine and the brutal circumstances, because stopping to speak at the moment really does not help the liberation and the healing of the Palestinian people. We need to continue the struggle of telling the story and getting more and more people to know about injustice in Palestine, about the genocide in Palestine, about children of Palestine. Also, we here in Palestine, we need not only that the story to go out, but we need at times um, when when we feel so much betrayal around us, that we still have sisters and brothers in the world who are walking the walk with us, who understand the suffering and they really with us. This is so important to accompany us in the injustice we live in, and for the healing we really hope for and the liberation we hope for is an important gesture as well.
Thank you, Rami. And in terms of international psychologists and social workers, have you received support from them? And if there's like anything you would want colleagues who are international in that way, to know about your work, or yeah, if there's anything you want to say about that.
Sure. This is really an important aspect because professionally working together on reporting, doing research, accompanying each other, building the capacities of each other in the work of psychosocial support and psychology and social work is truly important. And we really appreciate when people reach out to us and say whether we want to support you by our presence here in Palestine, by exchanging information and resources as well. by coming to Palestine to do more capacity building if needed. For instance, art therapy and play therapy and drama therapy is an important is really important modalities that in Palestine we lack. So building capacities and exchange would really help our social workers and psychologists to even expand the reach as well. And I will put my email here in the chat. If anyone would like to reach out for such exchange, I will be happy for sure for that.
Thank you, Rami. And are there other ways we can stay updated on your work? I know you have a website, so maybe we can put that, if you can put that in the chat as well, so we can have that for people.
Actually, there are two ways. You may, this is my email, and our website is www.anar.ps. You may also check us out on social media. We're very active on social media, and you can see our programs. We actually have a sister organization in the States that help us with fundraising and building connections with communities, professionals as well. I will also put their website. They're called Healing to Hope. Please feel free to reach out, and we will be more than happy to be in contact.
That's wonderful. And yeah, I can see the links. So if anyone is in the US in particular, you can check out that site, and there will probably be ways to get involved with the work. And then finally, is there anything else that you would like to say to our audience today that you haven't covered yet?
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate inviting me and the chance to meet with all of you and present the plight of the Palestinian children who are experiencing unbelievable brutality. In fact, I will be in for folks in the States. I will be in the States for a tour in June and July, especially in Atlanta, in Chicago, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and California. So if you happen to be from these states, a program will be put on the website for Healing to Hope, and would love to see you in person and have more conversation.
Thanks, Rami. And there seems to be one more question that I missed in the chat, which is about funding. So where you get your funding, if a lot of it is grassroots, and that we can also donate using the website you put in the chat as well.
Sure. Funding is really always an issue. As I said, the need is huge, and we appreciate and welcome donations from individuals, community organizations, churches. We also have grants from different organizations. People can donate to us through our sister organization, Healing to Hope, and all donations who go to Healing to Hope will end up coming to Anar to support the activities of Anar.
It's wonderful. Thank you. And thank you so much for taking the time today to share your important work. And I hope that people will take a look at the sites and also join you during your speaking tour in the United States. So safe travels when you do come. And I guess for now, so starting now, we'll probably do a discussion and on action. So feel free to stay, Rami, but if you have to leave, we thank you again for presenting today.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so we'll move now to the portion on action. As you can see, Rami put a few links for not just his email, but to the US organization. So if you are in the United States, I think Fahad mentioned also in Atlanta that they'll be welcoming him, also in California. So if you want to keep updated on that when he comes over the summer, you can probably attend an event if it's close by to you. In the meantime, I would love to open this discussion for anyone who has actions in their communities. We do have one action that we just wanted to encourage people to take, given it's Holy Week, that Gaza Ceasefire Pilgrimages. It's an organization and coalition of Christian organizations and groups around the world who have organized their communities to do a walking pilgrimage. And so they've encouraged anyone to organize, 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles, which is the distance from Bethlehem to Jerusalem within your own city. So you can just organize that as a walk either around your churches or cities. And they've asked people to stop to pray at moments where there might be a checkpoint. So you can actually use the Sabil's wave of prayers for this, which we just released for this week. So you can probably use that if you would like during this week. And we also asked you to consider sharing a statement for just peace in Palestine, Israel, which was written by a number of Palestinian Christian community leaders, including archbishops and then Sabil's Salsan Bitar, if you have met her before, but she has been one of the longest staff members at Sabil, and she helped compile and write this statement, and it's called Jerusalem Voice for Justice. And I've put this in the Kumi action page, so you can check out those links there if you want to be involved with that or share that with your churches or communities. So I'll leave that as the main action for this week, and then if you want to look at the site for anything else or share anything else in the chat, I'm happy to announce that on your behalf. So yeah, thank you everyone, and I'll leave this just if you want to raise your hand to speak.